Hello crafting friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Barbara Radzevicius and I'm Bondi Fibre Crafter. This is part 2 of part 2, so the second part of part 2 in my series of collecting for May, collecting quilts. And so we're going to talk about the rest of the patchwork quilts that I have out at the moment. It's only half of the quilts that I have, but you know, these ones have to be stored separately to the ones that go in the quilt cupboard because there's not enough room. So I'm sorting through patchwork quilts today with you, and I hope you enjoy them. If you do and you like this content of quilts and quilt heaven, please like and subscribe, and thank you so much. And thank you for joining me today because I think we're going to have some fun with colour. There is the rest of the patchwork quilts, Trip Around the World, a few, K Facet fabrics, Beautiful Brights, and also some quilts in progress with the pins in and some quilt tops, which is exciting. And I think they are all small quilts for babies, but they're only in the stage of tops. So I haven't really gone any further with that since last winter, but it's coming up to cooler weather, rain and quilting weather. So it is fun, and I hope you will enjoy this episode. I thought first we'd have a look at this nice pile of tops. There are quite a few, and there's one behind me. It's a top too. So, tops are fun, aren't they? I mean, we all have tops just waiting. And I've got a few. My tops are mainly patchwork, I've got to say so. This is one you saw me making last year in a previous episode. It's a Jacob's ladder. It's only three blocks wide. Lovely colours. Clocks. So this is the size of a baby quilt that I would make, and they are about 40-inch squares. And the blocks are usually between 12 and 13 inches finished. I try to have 12.5-inch finished blocks. And I think they make a lovely size. I'll show you these out flat when I've finished looking at the tops. It's good for me to sit down for a bit. I do like experimenting with shapes, mainly straight shapes for patchwork, although I have done circles, which I love. But you can see that I use 2.5-inch strips together with other size rectangles in quilts, especially when I have fabric that I really love. Look at this. And then there's a little piece of it with a border. We'll look at it more in a tick. This is one of my favourite rectangle sizes. And you've seen me make this one. So I can mass produce these like 3 or 4 at a time, mainly because I find for 5 fabrics that I really love, and I cut them into, I think it's 4 by 8 rectangles. Or it varies, you know, with the size of rectangles, but I usually make 3 or 4 at a go because they're baby quilts and I want to machine quilt them and have them in the pile for gifts. I really love this print. Isn't that lovely? It's hummingbirds. And then that pink next to it is weather, and so is this. Those 2 prints are called weather. And then there's beautiful cherry blossoms. I think they're cherry blossoms. We'll have a closer look at that one. Do you remember this one? So there's quite a few tops that I need to get on with. This red is so bright and beautiful, but it's not a K facet fabric. None of them are. So there's the weather and the hummingbirds and books. And the book fabric has chickens in it. Is that cute? Beautiful birds, lovely reds. So the whole of this little quilt is red, mainly. We'll take a closer look at that one too. There's only 2 more to go. And then I will hop up. And this was a swap. These blocks were a swap that I was in. And I joined them together because I just had a pile of them. And I made them for birthday swap blocks. For my friends all over the world, US and UK. And it's this block. I especially love it because it has cats. The cat fabric that I used for my skirts and that Audrey used for her skirts. And then Churn Dash, I think it's called Churn Dash, in a few different colorways. And for the center I put this block. We'll have a closer look at that one. And this is the last one, the last top. And it's a little girl's quilt. It's got ballet theme fabric and pinks. And it's such a lovely little soft quilt. And the girls are all doing different poses, and this is grunge, spotty grunge. I love grunge. Comes in spots. It's a lovely pink and grey. Some bikes. Now you will see them out flat. They are very nice. Here they are out flat. This is the first one, Jacob's Ladder. I just have to work faster. So beautiful. I love the fabrics in the baby quilts too. And bees. So that's the first one. The second one. You can see the setting. It reminds me of a stained glass window, this one. And I put beautiful birds in it. This is a greeny pink, hummingbirds and blossoms and weather. So this is one of my favorite settings. Same setting, different fabrics. I think the reds and the greens and that go very well together. I was thinking about the red and whether I should put it in, include it, but I think it was a good choice, and now I just have to quilt these quilts. That's the birthday swap. Have a look from a distance. You can see there's nine blocks. Very fun cat fabrics. Cat's doing interesting things. And this is the last one, the pink, and that is in the rectangles also. So that is my tops waiting for me to get a move on. Hopefully this year. This also is a quilt top waiting to be finished. It's just the quilt top too, like the small ones, but a big one. And I think this is the only big quilt top that I have waiting to go. It is a tiny house. I have a couple of tiny house quilts, and this is one waiting. And I'd forgotten about it, and I found it in the basket, separate from the others. So here it is. These are a different size house. And yeah, it's big, and it will take a lot of quilting. Oh, I do love quilt tops though, but it's not my favourite stage. I like the stage where it gets pinned up and quilted and finished. So yeah. My patchwork quilts are in a different section to applique quilts or English paper piecing quilts, mainly because they're made up of little pieces either sewn together on the machine or by hand, and hand quilted or machine quilted. It doesn't really matter, the same as the others. But patchwork for me is a quilt made up of pieces that are sewn together on the machine. Mainly, that's how I do my patchwork quilts, I would say. I don't think I've done any patchwork by hand. I've done applique and English paper piecing by hand, but that's in the section to come. I just love this quilt. I just think it's so beautiful. Now I've got it out. It's so lovely, the colours. But yeah, I do love patchwork. My first love. Actually, quilts are my first love. This is my big Jacob's ladder that I'm planning to hand quilt. I had to put it outside on my landing for a space big enough to lay it out flat. Really love the greens in this. And I especially love the border. It goes all the way around. I just think it's really, really cool. They look happy. And I really, really love the fabrics in this, and this is my theme fabric. I think it's segments of wood. All different greens. It's the back. And the binding is already on. They're all pinned up, ready to go. Looks like a lot of handwork in this one, but I've already started. So I'll do it in a grid pattern. Hoping to finish this one this year. Jacob's ladder, 12-inch blocks, 100% cotton quilting fabric, and our cotton bat, a thin cotton bat. The measurements of this quilt is a queen size, so pretty big. Another patchwork quilt. Very easy, this one. I've shown this one recently. I think it's beautiful to make for anyone, really. So easy to construct. This is a bigger quilt in the same block construction. 12-inch blocks finished. Great for novelty prints and scrap fabrics. This is a black and white, and I really love black and whites. This one is pinned up and ready to go too. A lot of my patchwork quilts are at this stage, you'll notice. Sometimes I love the backs as much as the front of a quilt, and this is a fun back of a small quilt. And cats! Is this the most fun print you've ever seen? It's a panel. I just think it's so cute. And I'll show you the front. Look at these cats. So these cats were a swap. I'll just turn it over. This is the front of the quilt. Such fun blocks. They're small blocks. I think they're about 5-inch squares. And before lockdown, I was in a group and we swapped cat blocks. They're so sweet. All my friends sent me cats and I sent them cats. And the postage rate was also much better back then too. So that was in about 2017, 18. I just think they're so cute. This is a lovely pattern. A very typical patchwork scrap quilt, and I put the border on too. I love this cat fabric. I've used it a few times. I got it at Spotlight. It's so cute. Cats are all doing lovable things. Yeah. I used to be in a group on Facebook, and it was just for cat fabric. We swapped cat fabric. We made blocks with cat fabric. And this is a finished quilt. I just have to quilt it now. And I don't want to quilt it on the machine. I think I'll hand quilt it. So this is another hand quilting project. But so cute. This is a trip around the world quilt I made with a jelly roll that I made myself. Mainly K-facet fabrics, greens. So I was on a roll with this pattern. There's all different configurations you can have depending on where you put the dark chain-like pieces. They're all 2.5-inch squares, obviously, because of the jelly roll. But yeah, I just cut with the fabrics, and I did them in a sort of a circle. I can't exactly explain it now, but there are YouTubes on how to do trip around the world in all different configurations, and I did one of them. And I'm hand quilting this one, and I've started. You can see some of it is hand quilted, so I just have to finish that off. Here's the whole center square done. And yeah, I really love these patterns. And that's the back. That is also lovely fabric, and I also did the binding in the same fabric. So that is my green jelly roll patchwork quilt. It's quite big. I think it's about 60 by 70 inches. I could be wrong, but that's a guess. This I would consider a trip around the world also, but it looks like an Irish chain. Might be an Irish chain. It's green. I do love spots, and so black and white spots is the theme for this one. Just go back a bit. Really like it. And the greens are K Facet. K Facet Collective, because I see Philip Jacobs, Big Botanicals, and the green represents those thunder eggs, you know, that you get from volcanoes, I think. Beautiful greens. And the back is a nice blue, and the binding is also the same as the greens I've used in the blocks. That is the end of my patchwork part 2 of part 2. And yeah, I really love patchwork too. Such beautiful quilts, and you can put any fabrics you like in a quilt as long as they're the same weight, basically, I would say. I really do like small pieces. They are not scraps, are they, friends? And I do like the look of crumpled quilts. They just look so inviting. So thank you for watching these 2 parts on Patchwork Quilts and collecting. And next I'll have an episode on English paper piecing and a couple of appliques and why I collect. So that might be interesting. Okay. Thank you for joining me today, friends. So nice to see you, and I hope you enjoyed this content of quilts. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and please leave comments. I love reading comments about what you're doing, and email me photos of, you know, your projects, your quilts, anything fiber. So nice to hear from you, and I'll see you soon. Bye, friends.